And a pleasant Thursday evening to you. Welcome to the Hampton University Convocation Center as we have Big South basketball here on ESPN Plus. Tonight, Hampton University, fourth place in the Big South, will take on the reigning conference champions in Campbell University. And we welcome you courtside, joined by Roderick McLean. I'm Nathan Epstein, here to bring you the action tonight, and a pleasant good evening to you. Roderick, we talk about this Campbell University team. They are the conference reigning champions, but at the same time, not exactly what we saw from last year, as they have lost 5 of their last 7 games. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the Fighting Camels tonight.
They're coming off a loss, and they're the second to last in the Big South. They only have 2 players in double digits.
And we are off and running as Hampton University is in the home white jerseys. We'll have a little bit more on these teams as the game goes on. The Campbell University Fighting Camels in their traveling road jerseys. The Camels 5-4 on the road, as Hampton University 7-3 inside this building. And right off the bat, the first shot of the game goes to Ben Stanley. Roderick, he is the leading scorer in the Big South, and Campbell's got to have their hands full with him all night tonight.
That's right. He averages 25 and 9 rebounds, so close to a double-double.
Campbell looking to respond. That was Milo Stachis with a three-pointer off the mark, no good. And right back the other way is Jermaine Merrow. Last year, the leading scorer in the Big South, one of the leading scorers in the country off the mark from 3.
And a bad layup there by Campbell.
Greg Hextall will try his luck from 3, and he nails it from the left wing. Greg Hextall, the redshirt senior from right up the road in Norfolk, Virginia, 6'6", averaging 9.4 points per game, and his three-pointer has Hampton University leading 5-0.
One thing about Hextall, he shoots with a lot of confidence.
Corey Gensler kicks it back outside, and that is Ja'Cour Nelson for 3, and he connects from the left wing.
That's a nice answer right there, Nate.
6'3", 185 pounds from Hopkins, South Carolina. Ja'Cour Nelson averaging just under 9 points a game. And almost a turnover, they say it will. An errant pass. I believe that was from Deuce Dean. Russell Deuce Dean making his first career start tonight, Roderick.
The freshman, he got the call. Let's see how he performs.
Back out Stachis, and he's looking for somebody and finds Jordan Whitfield. Whitfield double team, now gets it out Nelson. Skip pass across, and I believe going baseline.
Great defense there by the Pirates.
Back out Cedric Henderson. Stanley almost with the block, but I believe that was Stachis with the layup. No, that is number 22, Corey Gensler with the layup. Hextall with a short jumper, a little too short. The offensive rebound and the putback, Edward Oliver Hampton, making his 11th start of the season, gets on the board tonight.
Pirates doing a good job breaking the press of the Camels and got an easy bucket right there.
7-5, Hampton with the early lead. Milo Stachis, a load at 6'10". And almost a turnover it is. Deuce running it on a 3-on-1 break. Merrow, corner, 3. Yes, sir.
Deuce Dean already getting involved with the steal, and great pass to Merrow for 3.
And Jermaine Merrow, the program's all-time Division I scorer, already making his presence known with a three-pointer. Caught underneath Gensler, now is free from 3, a little too short off the front iron, and Hextall skies for the rebound.
Hextall trying to give the ball to Merrow. Great job by Witherfield denying Merrow.
Hampton University, the third best scoring team in the Big South, averaging almost 80 points a game. And we're going to talk a little bit about Hampton and the bit of an odd situation that they've been in over the last 72 hours. In the meantime, there's Merrow again from 3.
He is the leader of the team, and he is showing it tonight so far.
24.6 points per game. Again, he was the second leading scorer in the nation last year, behind only the guy who's not on this floor tonight, Chris Chris Clemens. Henderson finds the opening. Cedric Henderson from 3, the sophomore, 6'6", 53% shooter from beyond the arc. Merrow in a little bit of trouble, and Deuce gets it across the timeline.
Both teams starting to shoot the ball well in this one.
Underneath, Hextall, little fadeaway, well off the mark, hits the side of the backboard. And now running with it, Gensler, guarded by Deuce. Whistle. And they're going to say that will be underneath. A little bit of pushing and shoving going on. I believe that was on Greg Hextall, his first. And with that, we have reached our first media timeout of the game. Hampton leads this one 13-8. Jermaine Merrow, the early leading scorer. Back inside the Hampton University Convocation Center, there is Ben Stanley, the leading scorer in the Big South, with the first bucket of the game. Greg Hextall got in on the action with a three-pointer of his own, and an offensive rebound from Oliver Hampton. But, of course, the leading scorer, surprise, surprise, Jermaine Merrow, the senior from right down the road in Newport News, played his high school basketball at Heritage High School, averaged 36 points per game when he was in high school. And Roderick, actually, I was a little bit mistaken on that last whistle. I thought there was some pushing and shoving going on, but as it turns out, we had a technical foul.
And the one thing with Campbell, they lead the conference in free throw shooting percentage is 75% as a team.
I guess they must have heard you on that one, because at the line tonight, Jordan Whitfield, he's a 91% free throw shooter, and he's 0 for 1 to start the night.
I guess I jinxed it. My apologies. One thing about Whitfield, last game, career high, 20 points.
Looking to continue that tonight, and we saw on the sideline there, Ed Buck Joyner, the head coach for Hampton University, the all-time winningest coach in the school's history. Off the mark for 3, Austin McCullough into the game for the first time tonight. Hampton University off and running. Merrow might have walked with the basketball, off-balance layup. Jacor Nelson the other way for Campbell.
That's a 3-ball. It's good.
And that is good. Number 13, Austin McCullough, right into the game, makes his presence felt right away. The 6'5", 210-pound junior from Birmingham, Alabama. 3 points right there, 1 for 1 from beyond the arc to start the night. .11 seconds left on the shot clock, and now Stanley has to make something happen with it. Goes baseline. Runs right into a double team. Merrow hoists up a long 3. Almost got it to go. Stanley with the offensive board. Fights his way through a couple of Camels and gets the deuce to go.
Great rebound and great job going right back up strong.
Stanley averages almost 8 rebounds a game. He is a load underneath. And talk about the improvement that we saw from year 1 to year 2.
He didn't get that much playing time his first year. And now it definitely changed.
Underneath, the easy layup, Corey Gensler gets it back to a 1-point game, and now Campbell applying some full court pressure. Ball tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Hampton. So, Roderick, we talk about this Hampton University team and the odd situation that they're in. Normally, we say they're coming off either a win or a loss, but they're actually not coming off of either one, as last game for Hampton, a road game at Gardner-Webb, cut short at the half because of a malfunctioning shot clock.
And we have an and one on the play as Merrow goes to the line. I never heard of that before.
And not only that, I think, at least that's what we're hearing, is that only one of the shot clocks was malfunctioning. But now they're going to have to try to regroup. They will play that game, or what's left of that game. They will play out the remaining half of that game on February 24th. So that's a bit of an odd situation, but it didn't seem to affect Merrow so much. So far, he has got 8 points on the night, looking to make it 9 with a free throw.
And he misses it.
Merrow, a 75 almost % free throw shooter, 0 for 1 to start the night, but he does have 8 points to lead all scorers in the game. That was Jacor Nelson taking it strong, but the offensive rebound and the putback again has Campbell within one. 17-16, Hampton leads. Campbell with a lot of that full court pressure to start the game, Roderick.
That's right, but the Pirates are doing a good job breaking that press. As Stanley has the ball for the Pirates.
Outside to Merrow. Baseline takes it right into the teeth of that Campbell defense, and they do a good job. A few bodies hitting the floor on the other end. Merrow's still on the floor.
They got numbers.
Ball stolen away by the Pirates.
Great job by Griffin.
That was Jesus Carolero looking underneath. Stanley, the turnaround, almost with the and one. Ball rattles in, around, and out, but Stanley will go to the free throw line.
That spin move is like his signature move.
Stanley, the Big South's leading scorer and the 11th best scorer in the country, averaging 22 points per game. But what's so remarkable, Roderick, is as he misses the first free throw too short, is the improvement from year one to year two. He only averaged 4.4 points per game, but you're saying that's because really he didn't get a whole lot of playing time last year.
That's right. He always been a dominant rebounder, but now he's showing there's more of an offensive side.
And Stanley with 5 points on the night after the second made free throw.
Not only can he go down low, he's been working on his mid-range game as well.
Into the game, Trey Spencer for Campbell. Outside, Gensler, a nice feed and an easy layup for Gensler. Gensler with 6 points on the night as Hampton again breaks the press. D'Andre Griffin's into the game. He'll try the floater and connect.
Nice soft touch there by Griffin.
Griffin, the 6'3", 200-pound senior from Raleigh, North Carolina. He's onto the board for the first time tonight. Jesus Carolero almost lost it. Campbell regains. And almost threw it away, but we got a whistle. And I believe that will be on Oliver Hampton. That's his first foul of the night. And it is the team's second foul. Jacor Nelson heads to the bench for Campbell, averaging just under 9 points a game. And into the game for the first time tonight for Campbell, Joshua Lucane. Campbell inbounding. That is Whitfield with a little bit of trouble, but finds Lucane.
High screen there for Campbell.
Spencer guarded by Stanley. He'll pull back and airmail the three from the corner. The long outlet looking for Stanley, but it's intercepted. Lucane playing defensive back. And on the other end for three, that is Ladarius Knight. The redshirt freshman finds the long range.
Turnovers leading to points.
And it gives Campbell its first lead of the night. So something about this Campbell team, 9-3 out of conference. Jermaine Merrow underneath Stanley, lost it, regains, goes back up strong, fouled, and he will go to the line. And that will bring us to our second media timeout of the night. We've got a close one here at the Hampton Convocation Center. 21-20, Campbell with its first lead of the night. Campbell on a 13-7 run. They have the 1 point lead. And Roderick, we've seen a lot of good shooting so far in this game, especially from three. It's been a 3-point shooting clinic so far.
That's right. Both teams shooting the three-ball. Amazing. Hampton shooting 60% and the Camels 57%.
Hampton University, the sixth best three-point shooting team in the Big South, 33% from beyond the arc. Campbell, they're fourth best at 33.5%, but they have really been stroking it well from beyond the arc these last several games. As Ben Stanley goes back to the free throw line. Stanley has scored in double figures in all but 2 games. He has 6 double-doubles so far this year. First free throw rims around and out.
That's amazing for a player that didn't get the playing time that he's getting now. Last season makes the second one.
And so far, right around that free throw shooting percentage, shoots it at 65% on the year, and he makes good on 1 of 2. So we got a tie ball game. Lucane guarded by Stanley. For three, that's Knight. Off the side iron, no good. And here comes Merrow, the school's all-time Division I leading scorer underneath Stanley. They're really trying to attack that paint. Late whistle. Stanley bailed out. He'll go to the free throw line for two more. And Roderick, this is what Hampton does so well in the Big South, is getting to the free throw line.
That's right, and they do that by giving the ball to Stanley. They like doing that high screen, Stanley rolling, and Merrow passing to the corner and finding the ball down low to Stanley.
First free throw, too strong off the back iron. The last one was a little too short. More substitutions on the way, as I believe that's Milo Stacic back into the game for Campbell.
This is a close game right here, and these free throws could be very crucial if it remains this close.
And second one, no good. Stanley a little bit off from the free throw line tonight. Campbell 11-8, 2-5 in the Big South. They did very well in their out-of-conference schedule. And the steal by Hampton. The outlet. A lot of contact underneath. Davian Warren took it in for Hampton. No whistle, so they're going to say out of bounds and goes back to the Fighting Camels.
And that was a great job by Camels getting back on defense and causing a turnover right back.
As we were saying, Campbell 2-5 in the Big South. They were 9-3 through their non-conference schedule, but they've lost 5 of their last 7. But it is hard to replace a guy like Chris Clemens, the all-time leading scorer in school history. Underneath the big man, Milo Stacic, using that 6'10" frame, gets the baby hook to go. And now Campbell back on defense. And they're going to say Warren stepped on the line as he was trying to regain. Campbell ball.
So back-to-back turnovers here for the Pirates. And we got a wet spot on the floor here.
Campbell coming off a loss at Presbyterian. Before that, their last win against Longwood University at home. Stacic thought about the three. Hands off Spencer. Stacic, this time he'll let it fly. Almost got the shooter's touch, but the offensive board and the putback, Cedric Henderson went right over Warren for the offensive rebound, and he has Campbell up by 4.
Great job with the second chances.
Warren attacks. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Hampton.
The Pirates are doing a great job breaking the press. They just can't finish underneath the rim right now when they break the press. As Deuce Jean checks back in, replacing Warren.
And they'll feed to Stanley. He has a big man guarding him in Stacic. 6'10". Merrow whistle before he made it to the rim. Dondre Griffin will do the inbounding. Finds Merrow on the baseline. Under 10 minutes to play as Merrow finds the opening and banks it up and in.
What a spin move there by Merrow.
Merrow now in double figures, has 10 points. The feed down low, Stacic, and out to Henderson, back to Stacic. Henderson guarded by Merrow, takes the screen, and a short jumper well off the mark. 2 Pirates fighting for the rebound, and Merrow gets it out to Hextall, back to Merrow. Guarded by Spencer. Merrow, one of those guys you just can't lose track of, but even when you have him dead in your sights, he makes something happen. Let's see if he can make something happen here from 3. Side iron, and the rebound comes down to Stacic. Gensler with a spin move, poked away by Merrow, but it'll stay with Campbell.
And Jakura Nelson checking in, replacing Whitfield.
And Nelson will do the inbounding for Campbell. Finds Spencer, the senior guard, 6'4", out of Granada, Mississippi. Stacic working on Stanley. Blocked by Stanley, and that is something that nobody else in the Big South does better than the big man.
And he said, no, 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 not today.
Stanley leads the Big South in blocks. Hampton, one of the best blocking teams, actually the best blocking team in the Big South. Henderson with the smooth gliding in layup. Puts Campbell back up by 4.
Great job by Henderson using his body to keep the ball away from Stanley there.
Dean, they call him Deuce, running the point, finds Hextall. Dondre Griffin, back to Deuce. Double team, kicks it out. Merrow gets his man in the air. Now he'll try again from 3, and that one falls. Merrow starting to feel it a little bit.
And that's the matchup he liked, having the big man on him.
12 points for Merrow. The second leading scorer on this team, one of the best in the Big South. Henderson open from the elbow, but can't connect. If you're Campbell, you want to see Henderson drain those ones. Nobody was around him. Merrow takes the screen from Stanley. Trying to get by his man. Caught in the air, kicks it back out, stolen away by Henderson.
That was a bad decision there.
Henderson attacks, and another rejection by the big man, Ben Stanley. And that will take us to another media timeout. Now we're starting to play a little defense here at Hampton, but Campbell still retains the 27-25 lead.
From anywhere with Remote Connect.
Back at Hampton University, Campbell with a 27-25 lead, inbounding the ball after that block. That was actually from Dondre Griffin. I apologize. I thought it was Stanley, but was blocked by the monitor here. Griffin with only his 4th block of the year, but it was an emphatic one. And that was the dribble drive from Gensler, no good, and now it's Griffin off and running. Picks up his dribble and finds Hextall outside. Deuce Dean getting his first start of his career here. Only the freshman, 2 points per game. And that, I believe, was Stanley. Short, but look at the hustle play. Stanley underneath. No good. He will go to the free throw line, but all hustle from Davion Warren.
What a save by Davion Warren. Came out of nowhere like the flash.
And he flashed right to the corner and flipped the ball right over his head and found Stanley, and he will go back to the line where he has been a number of times tonight. Warren, a 65% free throw shooter on the season. But he's 2 of 6 up until that one, make it 3 of 7 on the night.
Pirates only shooting 37% from the free throw line. They get into the free throw line, they got to execute.
Jakor Nelson takes a seat for Campbell, and back into the game, Jordan Whitfield, and he will be running the point for Campbell. Hampton leads the Big South getting to the free throw line, 444 attempts at the free throw line heading into this game.
That's a lot of attempts there.
And it's 11th best in the country. Spencer had the ball partially blocked by Stanley, but he's whistled for the foul, and he doesn't like it, but that will send Spencer to the free throw line. While we have a second, the Big South Network. This broadcast is brought to you in part by Geico. Big South alumni could save even more with an alumni discount from Geico. Visit geico.com/Big South today. By Marriott, the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference, and Sunbelt Rentals. We have equipment for that. Looking to see what we're waiting on. A couple of officials looking at the Hampton bench, and I believe Stanley may have been nicked up a little bit, but he gives the thumbs up. and heads back into the game.
You know, he wasn't sitting out for long.
Yeah, you know, Coach Buck, he's not going to keep him on the sideline for very long as Spencer, the lefty, flicks the wrist, and he is pure for the first free throw. Spencer, 76% free throw shooter on the season. This is his 31st attempt this year. And the second one a little too strong off the back iron.
I guess you jinxed it that time.
75% free throw shooter, but can't connect on both of them. Hampton again breaks the press. Approaching 6 minutes left to play in this first half. It's been pretty back and forth. Campbell with a 1-point lead, 28-27.
Close game indeed.
Hextall has to pick up his dribble and find Stanley with 3 to shoot. He'll launch from 3. Back iron, no good. Whitfield skies for the rebound. Stanley can shoot it from three-point range. Doesn't take a whole lot of them, but he is a 50% free throw shooter coming into this game. Back other end, Stočić. Gensler to the corner, and that no good by Whitfield.
Great defense there by Dean.
And there goes Dean. Left-handed flick, no good off the back iron. Might have been a little bit of contact, but here comes Campbell. From the elbow, no good. Whitfield. The offensive putback, no good. Ball out of bounds. They're going to say it's going to stay right here with Campbell.
And we're all tied up in the rebounding game, 15 apiece. As Whitfield inbounds.
Finds Stočić. 2 big men going at it. Stočić versus Stanley. Outside Spencer. Bounce pass, Stočić. Under 10 seconds left to shoot on the shot clock. He'll attack the right-handed layup, soft off the glass.
Stanley just fell asleep there. And we have a kickball on the play on the Camels.
Stočić averages only 5 points a game, but he's got a lot of minutes so far. Stočić with 4 points already on the night. And here comes Warren to Hextall. 5 minutes left in this first half. Campbell with a 30-27 lead. Underneath bounce pass. Merrow to Stanley. The 2 best scorers on this team. And it's Stanley with a finish.
And they have a great connection and great chemistry.
Stanley now in double figures with 10 points. Gensler guarded by Dean. And from 3, that's Spencer, the lefty. Can't get it to fall too short. Stanley makes sure nobody else grabs that rebound. Merrow tried to kick it out to the corner, but there was nobody home. Looks like Merrow thought there was going to be somebody waiting in the corner, but all that was left was a couple of trainers from Campbell University on the bench.
Looking at his teammates, trying to see what was going on there, but just miscommunication.
Coach Ed Joyner in his 11th season at Hampton. Last season finished strong in their first season in the Big South. Finished 8 of their last 10 games, and a whistle. And Deuce holding his hands above his head. Can't believe he was called for that whistle. And that brings us to our last media timeout of the half. Things have slowed down a little bit, but Campbell still with a 30-29 lead. You're watching Big South basketball on ESPN+.
Find it, start it, from anywhere with Remote Connect.
Here's that last play from Campbell as Henderson getting in on the action for Campbell, who retains the 30-29 lead here at Hampton University. And Roderick, we've seen a lot of scoring to start the game, but since the last media timeout, these teams have combined for only 5 points, so each team's starting to feel out the defensive side a little bit.
Both teams started to pick up defensively, especially both teams starting to play more press. As you see, Murrow talking to the ref about that last play over there.
And so Campbell will retain possession back into the game for the Camels. Will be Ja'Cory Nelson, the starter, 6'3" from Hopkins, South Carolina. He will do the inbounding. Finds Whitfield in the corner. Back to Nelson, guarded by the freshman Deuce Stanley, and he pokes away the ball for the steal. On the ground is Hextall. They're going to call jump ball. What a great job by Russell Deuce Dean with the steal.
Yeah, that was a great steal.
Came into this game with 5 steals on the year. Scored a career high 9 points in his last game against North Carolina Asheville, which was a 2-point win for Hampton University. Came down to the last few minutes. We'll see if that's what we see again tonight. 4th place Hampton against 10th place Campbell. And for 3, that is Jesus Carolero, the redshirt, the freshman, 6'8" with a pure stroke.
Campbell's shooting 45% from the three-point line so far.
And we said that is something that they have done extremely well. Maybe a bad pass from Greg Hextall, but gets away with it. Poked out of bounds by Campbell. It'll stay with Hampton. Campbell has shot almost 53% from 3 over their last 3 games. They have been feeling it from beyond the arc.
Yeah, they're definitely on fire from downtown.
And again, ball knocked away, so it'll stay again with Hampton. 17 seconds on the shot clock. We're at 3:26 left to play in the first half, with Campbell leading this one 33-29, but it has been close throughout. Coach Joyner calling out signals for the Pirates. Marrow finds Stanley underneath. Spins opposite, too strong. The offensive rebound by Deuce. Marrow underneath, Stanley the stuff.
What a pass. That's how you know Murrow's the leader of the team. He's unselfish.
Marrow with his 80, he came into this game with 80 assists on the year, and he adds another to the tally. Almost bad dribble from Whitfield. Nelson right into the chest of Marrow, but he's not having any of it. Knocks the ball away. Hampton ball. Marrow with a little flex. Nelson took it right to the chest of Marrow, but Marrow stood strong.
As you've seen that pass there by Murrow, bang by Stanley.
Roderick Dean running the point has played very well for his first career start, hasn't he?
That's right. He's staying poised. And
Marrow finds the range and gives a little stare to the Campbell bench.
and Murrow already has 15 points.
And he's 3 of 6 from beyond the arc tonight. And it gives Hampton the lead, 34-33. Ball stolen away again. This was Hextall getting his hands in there. Dean slows down underneath. Stanley off the window, in and out, no good. The rebound on the floor, ball out of bounds. And it will stay with Hampton. Some great hustle play from Ben Stanley. I believe that is Warren with the inbound. Finds Stanley on the right wing. Ball knocked away.
Almost a turnover.
Almost
there.
a steal. Marrow again from 3. He was fouled on the way up. Almost an and one from 3, but it'll be Marrow at the line for 3 free throws. And that play, I believe that was Nelson with the foul, and that is his first. And now the officials are going to check the monitor to see if it actually was a 3-point basket from Marrow. For the moment, 34-33, Hampton leads it, but that could extend the lead for Hampton. While we have a second, you're watching ESPN Plus and this Big South Network broadcast brought to you by Geico. Officials taking a look at it while we have a second. Nathan Epstein courtside, again with Roderick McLean bringing you the action on the Big South network on ESPN Plus. For the moment, Hampton leads at 34-33. The officials checking to see if Jermaine Merrow, who just was fouled from long range, if it was a 3 or a 2.
Speaking of the Pirates shooting the 3 ball, they're shooting 57% from downtown.
That'll get it done on most nights, but neither team able to find separation from each other tonight. Merrow with a team high and a game high, 15 points so far, and right behind him, the leading scorer in the Big South with 12 points. 1:46 left to play in this first half, and it has been tight throughout. Merrow, one of those guys, he really showed his leadership the last several games. He missed the first 6 games of the season because of a broken hand, and that's actually when we learned a lot about Ben Stanley. Ben Stanley really accepted the challenge of leading the team with Merrow, the leading scorer from last year, out, and boy has he ever.
That's right. Speaking of Ben Stanley, the last time they played a full game, the Pirates in UNC Asheville, Stanley made 14 shots out of 22 takes.
Led the team, I believe, with a game-high 33 points in that one, and it was a close one. And Stanley can do it from so many different places. He does it inside. He can shoot from three-point range if he has to. Officials still taking a long look at this one, trying to see if Jermaine Merrow's foot was on the line. Haven't gotten a clean look at it ourselves.
You mentioned it's a close game here. One thing that the Camels are doing better than the Pirates is bench scoring. 10 bench points to the Pirates 2.
And that's something, the last time I was in this building, I know that some of the folks here at Hampton would rather I not bring this up, but the bench scoring for Winthrop versus Hampton in that game, let's just say that Coach Buck Joyner would like to forget about it.
Somebody told me you're a little bit of a
I'm
bad here.
I'm not going to take credit, nor will I deny anything. I'm simply the guy watching the game with everybody else. While we're still waiting on the call, Sunbelt. For the best Big South coverage, visit BigSouthSports.com. Stay current with the latest news, results, stats, standings, and much more. Enjoy video features showcasing remarkable student athletes, or connect to school sites or social media outlets, all from one place. Remember, the source for all your conference information is at BigSouthSports.com. A long game delay here as the officials are still trying to figure out if Jermaine Merrow will be shooting 2 free throws or if he will be shooting 3. If you're just joining us, Merrow, the second leading scorer on the team behind Ben Stanley, hoists up a three-pointer. At least we thought it was a three-pointer, and the official's still trying to confirm that.
Yeah, I believe it was a three-pointer, but better safe than sorry when it's a close game like this.
And that's the camera angle we're getting. It's not exactly conclusive here, trying to see where his foot may have been. Again, the three-point line. So that's the look we're getting at, and we're waiting to hear from the official. And it has been confirmed it is a three-point attempt, so Merrow will go to the line for 3 free throws.
And as of right now, in this game, he's 0 for 1, so let's see if he can change that.
Merrow, the second leading scorer in the nation last year, behind only Chris Clemens, and very unusual for Merrow. 0 for 2. 0 for 2 from the free throw line, Roderick, has came into this game 75% right around from the free throw line, and again
0 for 3.
Came away scratching his head. I think this one's even got Merrow a little spooked.
And right now the Pirates finally, but before that they were shooting 36% from the free throw line. This is a close game, Nate.
Close game. Hampton with a 2-point lead, and you're right. At the end of the game, Hampton may look back at all those missed free throws, and if you're Coach Ed Joyner, you don't want to be looking at and thinking, what if?
You know what the announcer says here? Free throws win ball games.
Into the corner, Henderson stops from the baseline, rattles around and out, and that is Hextall. Fights with his teammate for the rebound, comes away with it. Approaching a minute left to play in this half. Hextall with Henderson in his face, no good. Gensler tracks down the rebound. Henderson been a little quiet so far in this game. Spencer back to Henderson. Oh, a nasty stop and go outside. Whitfield gets the friendly roll. Oh, my. Henderson. No, sir.
Had him in a little spin cycle there.
Henderson, a stop and go, then stop and go again. 37 seconds left. Campbell with a 1-point lead. Henderson, the leading scorer on the team, 12.1 points a game with a spectacular move. Finds the assist. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Merrow has to go to work. Finds the range. No good. The offensive rebound. Warren misses the bunny. Still fighting for the rebound. Campbell comes away with it. Ben Stanley on the ground pleading his case. Thought he may have been fouled on that one. We got a stoppage in play for the moment. Believe ball went out of bounds. It'll just stay with Campbell. Stanley still pleading his case. Shot clock is off. And Campbell going to call a timeout with 12 seconds left to work and a 1-point lead. So Hampton trailing this one 35-36. They're 7-3 inside this building. Campbell, as we said at the top of the broadcast, they love playing on the road, 5-4, even though they are 10th place in the Big South. 2-5 in conference. They finished 9-3 out of conference. But, Roderick, they love playing on the road, and so far they've showed it. They've gone toe-to-toe with Hampton University.
You mentioned their hot start from the three-point shooting in the past few games. Right now, shooting 50%.
And you saw Stanley a second ago still kind of frustrated that he wasn't called, or that he wasn't going to the free throw line on that last Hampton possession. Maybe thought he may have been elbowed.
Yeah, he felt like he got hit in the face there.
He did end up on the baseline on the floor, so we'll see what Campbell head coach Kevin McGeehan has called in these final 12 seconds. Shot clock is off. Campbell with a 1-point lead. Tight one here at Hampton. Last 7 seconds, Whitfield outside for three. Yes! Austin McCullough connects. And that will be the final play of this first half as Campbell University has the 39-35 lead. From Hampton University Convocation Center, the Pirates have a little adjusting to do, but so far the Fighting Camels fighting hard in this one, 39-35, your score at the half.
Vic turned himself in today.
I wanted to know the truth.
I took advantage of the moment. We all did.
Did you start the car?
Uh-huh.
Go.
Lock it, find it, start it from anywhere.
to play. It'll be Pirates ball on the out of bounds. Get those white tickets out. Get those white tickets out. You participated in the softball team 50-50 raffle. I have the winning ticket number.
Welcome back to the Hampton University Convocation Center. We're ready to get the second half of action started as Campbell with a 39-35 lead over the Pirates. First half stats for you. Jermaine Merrow led the way in scoring with 16 points, right ahead of his teammate Ben Stanley right there. Off the miss, fights for his own board, still can't get it to go. The tip in by Deuce, no good. And after a couple of tries, Campbell comes away with it.
One thing for Campbell is that the first half was just the overall balanced scoring. They're doing a good job sharing the ball.
And for Hampton University, it looks like they're going right back with their original 5 starters right to the rack. Henderson getting the scoring started for Campbell, makes it 41-35. Henderson, again, the leading scorer, was a little bit quiet in that first half, but comes away with the first bucket for the Camels. And like you were saying, Roderick, a very balanced scoring attack. He did lead the way with 7 points, so give him 9 on the night. He will go to the free throw line. His first attempts at the free throw line so far.
Let's see what Henderson could do here.
And Roderick, both teams shot very well in that first half.
That's right. If you look at the Pirates, shooting 40%, and for the Camels, 47%.
Largest lead of the game for either team. Campbell with a 7-point edge. And again, the original starters back into the game. Russell Dean, Jermaine Merrow, Greg Hextall. Excuse me, that's Dondre Griffin, so beg your pardon. He was not in the starting lineup wearing number 11. And here's Merrow going to work. Picks up his dribble to the outside. Griffin, short off the back iron from 3. The rebound tracked down. Henderson skies for the one-handed slam.
Incoming, we got takeoff.
And the run continues for Campbell. They extend their lead to 9. Merrow trying to stop the bleeding off the back iron, no good, but he will go to the free throw line. He was fouled. And that was on Milo Stacic. First foul for Stacic and first team foul of the half. Boy, what a highlight from Henderson.
If you want to talk about bounce, he almost jumped out of the gym there.
Merrow still struggling from the free throw line. Merrow in that first half, 1 of 4, so make it 1 of 5 for a free throw shooter that came into this game, Roderick, 74% from the free throw line.
And at halftime, it was a close game, and it'll be much closer if the Pirates made those free throws.
Yeah, the only area that the Pirates did not shoot well from in the first half was the free throw line, 41% from the free throw line, 5 of 12 for the team that leads the Big South in free throw attempts. And there's Henderson, just had that highlight reel jam a second ago, finds Stacic. Back to Henderson with 10 to shoot. Stacic falls to the ground, outside Gensler. Foul on the floor, no bucket.
Campbell's doing a good job getting inside and drawing the foul early in the second half.
Henderson, the 19th leading scorer, I should say 19th scorer in the Big South. Named the Big South Player of the Week back in November. Showed you what kind of talent he's got on that last fast break. But an excellent pass, too. Whistle, and it looked like Whitfield with a few too many steps.
Yeah, he just lost himself there. As you seen the replay, Henderson, bang! That was nice.
Goodness gracious. (44-36). Campbell ended the first half on a three-pointer. And so far, it's been all Camels in this second half. Hextall guarded by Spencer back into the game. And there's Russell Dean, they call him Deuce, making his first career start tonight. Excellent pass. Hextall open from 3. You got to connect on those, and he does. And right after that, Coach Buck wants to call timeout.
And that was a much-needed basket there for the Pirates. As you mentioned, they all the momentum has been all the Camels so far.
And it brings us to a timeout. We'll take a quick break with Campbell leading this one 44-39.
4% cash back on dining and 4% on entertainment. So when you go out, you cash in. What's in your wallet?
Back at Hampton University, Campbell with a 5-point lead, 44-39. Cedric Henderson just a moment ago with an electric dunk, but Hampton back into it. Greg Hextall connects on the three. We're back to a 5-point game. Glad you could join us on this wonderful Thursday night. Nathan Epstein joined by Roderick McLean courtside as we're back to the action. Campbell having lost 5 of its last 7 games with a 5-point lead on the road, and Hampton University trying to stay in the thick of that Big South race. 4th place in the conference at 3-2. Underneath, Stacic almost missed it, but it rolls in, and Stacic extends the lead back to 7 again.
And that was a great play coming out of the timeout.
Deuce Dean running the point, didn't score in that first half, coming off a career day when he scored 9 points at North Carolina Asheville.
Great
Underneath,
move.
Warren. Pretty fadeaway off the back iron, off the backboard, I should say.
And that was a nice Euro step there, getting to that spot by Warren.
Back over to Nelson, nice crossover, takes Stanley right to the bucket, blocked by Stanley, and he comes away grimacing. Oh, that is not something you want to see if you are Coach Buck Joyner. Oh my goodness, Ben Stanley, the leading scorer in the Big South, is in a lot of pain on the ground. Officials timeout on the floor as Ben Stanley immediately grabbed what looked like his ankle, and there looks to be a trainer tending to that left ankle. Here comes Coach Buck Joyner.
Stanley has been playing lights out so far for the Pirates.
And now they're going to take off his shoes. Stanley, the leading scorer in the Big South, the 11th best scorer in the country. 22 points per game, the leading shot blocker for this team, one of the best shot blockers in America, the best in the Big South, and he came away absolutely in agony, clutching that left ankle. He's going to try to limp off under his own power with a round of applause from everyone here at the Hampton Convocation Center. It's a high five from Greg Hextall, but we're going to wonder if that may have been the last we've seen of Ben Stanley for this game, Roderick.
It's great to see him up on his feet and walk off of his own momentum.
Looks like he's trying to walk it off, just pacing up and down that sideline, and that's going to be something we're going to keep our eye on for the rest of this game.
You can see he tied his sneakers tight. Hopefully he'll get back in the game as he is a main player.
Stanley left the game with 12 points, and Corey Gensler back on the scoreboard for Campbell with a 3-pointer. It's an 8-point lead again for Campbell. We'll see what Hampton can do now with Stanley on the sideline. Warren out to Deuce. Russell Dean. Merrow, the nice cut. Up and under, looking for the up and under. Now it's Merrow on the deck, but it looks like he's okay. So he will go to the free throw line where he has struggled tonight.
It looks like Stanley will check back in.
And that is a great sign if you're a Pirates fan. Still doesn't look like he's very comfortable. Still trying to bounce around, get some blood flowing back to that ankle again. May have been one of those things where maybe he just got a little scared after
Probably just tweaked it or something.
Immediately landing on his ankle. So he's going to try to check back in, and Merrow connects on the first free throw attempt.
You see the replay here. Just tweaked it.
Oh, my goodness.
Looked like he stepped on the foot.
Oof. I have to say, I'm pretty surprised that Stanley's coming back in after that. That is one tough young man.
He just stepped on the foot of Nelson. Glad he's back on the court.
And again, the struggles continue for Jermaine Merrow at the free throw line, but we got a whistle.
And he will get one more, and we have a
lane violation.
Got to make these. Got to make this one.
Second one, the redo is good. Hampton only 7 of 15 from the free throw line. That's 8 points, and that's just about your difference there, Roderick.
Yeah, that's not good. Great move there by Henderson.
Henderson out to Nelson. Look underneath, almost stolen away by Warren. Ball knocked out of bounds. And they're going to keep it right here with Campbell. And that brings us to a media timeout here. 49-43. Campbell keeps the lead in the second half. We'll see what Hampton has on the other side. You're watching the Big South on ESPN+.
Lock it, find it, start it from anywhere with Remote Connect.
Campbell with a 6-point lead, 49-43. Welcome back to Hampton University. Nathan Epstein alongside Roderick McLean, set to bring you this finish as Campbell, having lost 5 of its last 7, with a 6-point lead on the road and inbounding the ball. Stočić hands off Nelson. Nice pass out to Henderson, and he'll unload from 3. Too short. Ball knocked around, eventually corralled by the Pirates.
The difference in this game is the Pirates' free throw shooting and the Camels' three-point shooting.
And Merrow can't connect on the 3, but gets his own rebound. A little scoop shot up and under. The ball knocked out from beneath the cylinder. They're going to call goaltending. Count the bucket. 49-45 as Merrow adds another to his tally. Merrow now over 20 points on the night, Roderick.
They're trying to see.
Oh, they're going to wave off the basket
Looks
now.
like it was an offensive interference that time.
And here come the Boo Birds here at Hampton. But Coach Joyner not fighting it, so maybe it was a good call. Couldn't see it from this vantage point, but so now they say wave off the basket. Thought it was goaltending on Campbell initially, but now it was goaltending on Hampton. So the score remains 49-43, a 6-point lead. Gensler underneath. Guarded by Dean. Outside to Henderson. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Stočić working on Stanley, who's back into the game with a bum ankle. Nelson off the back iron, too strong from 3. And here comes Hextall. Merrow with a game-high 21 points. And he's guarded by Gensler.
Do a high screen with Stanley here.
Spin move, a little Euro step
What
off the
a
front
move.
iron. Beautiful. Give him 23 on the night.
And great job by Stanley causing that space for Merrow to drive there.
We've been keeping our eye on Stanley. Left the game just a second ago. Hit the floor, fell on a defender's foot, twisted his ankle, looked like a nasty turn, but somehow still back in. Whitfield back onto the score sheet with a floater.
That was a nice soft touch there.
Whitfield with only 6 points, but it gives Campbell the 6-point edge.
You mentioned last game he had a career high 20 points.
Stanley looks okay with that spin move and the foul. What ankle problem?
None, absolutely none.
Came away hopping away, trying to pep up his team a little bit. They've been trailing for all of this second half. 51-47. Stanley looking to make it a 3-point game at the free throw line.
Free throws are very important, and you see the replay here by Merrow with the little Euro step, taking the trip there.
And Stanley, good from the free throw line. 5 of 9 from the free throw line, give him 15 points. We got a close one here at Hampton. Whitfield takes the contact, foul on the floor. And they're going to say that foul on Dondre Griffin a little bit too much. His 3rd foul, so Dondre might be heading to the bench soon, but Coach Joyner is going to keep him out there.
Gotta play smart.
Nelson takes the inbound back to Whitfield. 11 on 11, the matchup there is Stočić back on Stanley, and now Austin McCullough back into the game. Nice cut to the basket for Gensler. The reverse layup goes, and a nice pass. And that was not a nice pass from Hextall. Sails out of bounds. Turnover for Hampton. Back to Campbell, who leads it by 5.
Just miscommunication there. on the Pirates as they have 8 turnovers in this one.
Second in the Big South in assist-to-turnover ratio. But so far tonight, haven't been as clean with the ball as they'd like to be. Whitfield almost trips, picks up his dribble and finds Corolero. Back out to Winfield underneath Corolero, guarded by Merrow. Yeah, 10 seconds left to shoot. Here comes Nelson. Stops and pops from the elbow, can't get it to fall, and here comes Hampton. Griffin just picked up his 3rd foul a second ago. There's your leading scorer on the wing. Takes it baseline, Merrow. Worked on by Whitfield. A little scoop shot up and under is good.
Count it.
Merrow with 25 points leads all scorers. Closing in, he's still got a lot of time to work with. His career high is 40, only 15 away. He's got a lot of time to work with.
He did a great job that time getting to his spot.
Gensler almost walked with the basketball, 15 to shoot. Finds the opening. 2 Pirates can't get the block. Stanley, one of them. Gensler with the off the glass. Pace starting to pick up just a little bit here. Stanley, another spin move. The lefty.
Ooh. What a move.
He has 5 points since leaving the game with that slight ankle injury. We all thought we might not see him again, but here he is looking just fine, Roderick.
He is definitely okay as he goes to that signature spin move.
And you called it. He loves that spin move. Some contact from Merrow. That'll pick up a foul for number 2.
And that's his first personal.
So still has a lot of room to work with. Foul on the floor, so Campbell will inbound from the sideline. Here comes Whitfield with a short jumper. In and out, no good. Ball knocked away, and they're going to say Hampton ball. And that will bring us to immediate timeout. We are under 12 minutes left in this game, and it is still close. What once was an 8-point lead for the Camels, now down to 3, 55-52. Campbell leads it. You're watching the Big South on ESPN+. Back at Hampton University, Ben Stanley. We thought we might not see him again. Left the game momentarily with a little ankle injury. Corey Gensler, the leading scorer for Campbell, has 13 points on the night. Came into this game only needing 43 to be the 28th player with 1,000 points in his career. Closes in on that mark. Gensler very much a Mr. Everything for for Campbell, who retains the 3-point lead, 55-52. Campbell led by as many as 8. They love playing on the road, 5-4 away from home. And here comes Hampton, 7-3 at home, 3-2 in the Big South, looking to keep pace. Winthrop, your leader in the Big South, still unbeaten. And here comes Jermaine Merrow, the leading scorer in this game, has 23 points. Underneath, here comes Stanley again. Can't find the soft touch. The ball tipped around and then corralled by Hextall. Floater from Hextall falls.
Great job with the second chances there for the Pirates.
Give Hextall 8 points on the night, and we are down to a 1-point game.
Just like that.
Here comes Nelson back out, McCullough. Henderson had that one highlight reel jam a few moments ago. Almost walked with the ball. Whistle, and we have a jump ball. Possession arrow will stay with Campbell. McCullough will inbound with Merrow right next to him. McCullough doesn't see a whole lot of playing time this year. He has to hoist up one at the end of the shot clock. Almost banks it in. And the rebound comes down to Hampton, looking to take their first lead since the first half.
The bank was closed that time. It's a little too late.
And we're getting there, that's for sure. Merrow, your game's leading scorer. Here he goes down the lane. The nice
What a
feed.
pass.
Stanley back onto the scoreboard again.
What a pass by Merrow. That's his 4th assist of the night.
19 points for Stanley, right behind Merrow, who has 23. Those two have been in sync for most of the night.
Most of the season.
Underneath, the little baby hook falls for Jesus Carolero. Freshman with a nice bucket. And it gives Campbell the lead right back. Back and forth second half. Started with Campbell in control. Henderson almost with a steal. With 10 seconds to shoot, here comes Merrow. Fadeaway jumper is all nylon.
He is on fire.
Not much you can do against Merrow. There aren't many defenses that have been able to do much of anything against Merrow this season.
And he almost gets the steal.
Oh, and there he is drawing the foul. Fired up.
Firing up the crowd and his teammates.
Merrow gives Hampton the 1-point lead and then gets in the face of McCullough, and McCullough charged with the push-off offensive foul. Ball comes right back into Hampton.
Griffin with the ball here, passes to Hextall. High screen here, Merrow for 3. Short.
He was feeling it right on line, but a little bit too short.
A little bit of a heat check there.
Spencer, McCullough, back out Spencer. Carolero stolen away.
Steal.
Here comes Warren, looking to attack. A lot of contact under the basket. Those two were flying, bodies everywhere, but thankfully it looks like everybody okay.
There was a little bit of a rat race down there.
Young lady under the basket took probably the biggest hit of all, but she looks like she's fine. Comes away with a smile. Not so much a smile for head coach McGeehan of Campbell. 7th season at Campbell. Big South Coach of the Year last season. But his team down by 1 as Warren fouled will go back to the free throw line.
It's actually Warren's first free throws of the night. He missed.
No good. And again, that has been one of the problems for Hampton tonight. Here's Warren with a steal, but other end couldn't convert a lot of contact. Excellent defense from Warren.
Right from the cookie jar.
Second free throw is good, and as he missed his first one. So Hampton with a 2-point edge. Stochich back into the game. Here comes Henderson, trying to get by Griffin. He cannot, but Griffin commits the foul.
And that's his 4th. My apologies, his 3rd.
2 more substitutions back on the way for Coach McGeehan, as McCullough and Spencer will take a seat for the Camels. Corey Gensler's back into the game, the leading scorer for the Camels. The inbound underneath Stochich. Had to regain off the iron, no good. Here comes Merrow. Hampton leading by 2. Hextall calling for it. Nobody had him, but instead Merrow will fire on his own.
He is hot.
He is feeling it. Merrow with a 3-ball.
And great job by Merrow to slow it down and take his time, let everybody get back on offense, and he just drains it.
Merrow.
And we got a block!
My goodness.
Oh my gosh. Devon Warren, how could you?
That fires up the crowd. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Gensler picks up his. Oh, and a 3 is no good, but that was a foul on Jakor Nelson. Warren had a block a second ago, wanted another one, got a little bit too handsy, and that brings us to another media timeout. Roderick McLean is fired up, and so is everybody else here, as Hampton with a 4-point lead, 61-57.
Lock it, find it, start it from anywhere with Remote Connect.
Hampton can score, but they can also play defense. Let's take a look at the block that had Roderick McLean almost out of his seat.
I almost stood up there.
Tavion Warren flying in and pinning Cedric Henderson up against the backboard.
Man,
But then committed a mistake a second ago. Foul.
I'm still out of breath. Woo!
As Ja'Cory Nelson goes to the free throw line, shooting 3. He was fouled beyond the arc, but his first one is no good. Nelson making his first trip to the free throw line tonight and is 0 for 1. And if you want to see a block like the one we just saw or any moments from the Big South, get social with the Big South. Join the always growing network of Big South fans on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and more. You can always follow the conference source for game updates and onside championship coverage via Twitter at Big South Game Day. Follow, watch, like, and share with the Big South Conference. And so free throws cut the lead down to 2. Under 8 minutes left, and we have got a tight game here at Hampton. The Pirates 3-2 in the Big South. Campbell 2-5 in the Big South. Here comes Merrow. He has been the leading scorer all night. They still can't stop him.
That's right, as he has 29 points for tonight.
29 points, 11 off his career high. Almost stolen away by Warren. He has been active on the defensive end, and now he has Henderson. Henderson pinned up against the backboard by Warren. Here comes Stochich with 9 to shoot. Working against Stanley. Whistle. Foul on the floor, so no basket. Merrow trying to plead his case that Stochich with a push-off, but both of those big men going up against each other. Stochich going to the free throw line.
And they've been going at it tonight.
Stochich making his first attempt from the free throw line tonight as a 1-and-1 rattles home. Stochich, the 6'10" sophomore from Belgrade, Serbia, actually played on the Serbian national team in the FIBA Under-20 team over this past summer.
So he got a little bit of some professional national experience.
An international experience, and second free throw is up and good. He stays perfect, and Campbell is back to within 2 again, 63-61. And a whistle as Campbell was applying some full court pressure. And that foul on Henderson. His third foul, and now Coach McGeehan has to start thinking about substitutions. Henderson with 3 fouls. You don't want to lose him at 12 points a game. And now he has the assignment of guarding Merrow, which nobody has been able to come up with an answer tonight. Merrow with 29 points, only 11 away from tying his career high. Controls the point, now guarded by Gensler. Underneath, takes the contact. No good, but he will go to the free throw line. And that, Roderick, is actually what you may want if you're Campbell University, considering the only place that Merrow has struggled tonight has been from the free throw line.
That's right, shooting 50%, 4 for 8. Let's see if you can change that.
Looking to reach.
And it continues the bad free throw shooting. This is a close ball game, like we said earlier. Close ball games.
One of those weird things where if you're a scorer, you feel sometimes more comfortable taking a jump shot with a hand in your face than you do from flat-footed with nobody in your face, but he makes good on the second free throw.
Pirates up by 3.
3-point edge, 64-61. Campbell led for most of the second half until the late charge from Hampton. Here comes Nelson. Stochich, a lot of contact underneath as Warren hits the ground hard, but they play on with 14 to shoot on the shot clock. Nelson attacks
charge.
Stanley.
That's right. That's a good call.
Excuse me, that was Hextall on the ground, and they're going to say he was in position at the right time. Offensive foul, give it back to the Pirates. Coach McGeehan didn't like the call.
I actually believe that was Griffin that time on the ground.
And here's Griffin with the ball in his hands now, approaching 6 minutes left to play. Stanley trying to find position, can't get it against Stocic. And now Warren with 10 seconds to shoot, guarded by Gensler. Here comes Griffin. Off balance layup, almost falls off the window, but he did have a whistle, and so he will go to the free throw line.
And this will be the first time Griffin going to the free throw line tonight.
Griffin, a 70% free throw shooter. He's somebody you want at the line if you're Coach Buck Joyner, who is talking to Jermaine Merrow at the moment, who has 30 points on the night. Griffin is good. Hasn't been to the free throw line a whole lot this year, though, and that's saying a lot considering how many times the Pirates as a whole have been there. Only his 28th attempt from the free throw line this season, but now make it 29, looking to stay perfect from the line.
And he does.
He does, and the Pirates now have a 5-point lead.
And they'll start off with a press here. Coming off the free throw shooting.
There's Gensler, the leading scorer for the team, working on Warren. Back out Whitfield from 3. Side iron, no good. Stanley with a rebound. Stanley with his 6th board of the night. And Hampton maybe thinking about slowing things down here a little bit. They have the lead by 5. Merrow working on Whitfield. Underneath, off the back iron, and it falls. 32 points for Merrow.
Tonight, it doesn't matter who's guarding him. He's just taking it to the hole.
Coach McGeehan has tried every combination possible to fight against Merrow, and he has taken on every challenge. 32 points. Spencer found himself free. Nelson found himself free at the last second. Can't come away with the layup. Campbell with the offensive board will reset. Spencer to Stocic. A little bit of a mismatch there, guarded by Griffin. But here comes Spencer. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Underneath Stocic. The turnaround. No good. Misses the bunny.
Wide open bunny.
They got the matchup they wanted with Stocic, I believe, on the undersized Griffin.
Pirates got a break that time.
And they have their largest lead of the game at 7. What else does Merrow got? Off the front iron. That may have sent the roof off of this place. And here comes Nelson right to the rack. Nelson keeps the Camels alive. He's got 11 points, double figures for Nelson. Still a game here with 5-point lead for Campbell. Now 10 seconds to shoot for Merrow. Guarded by Whitfield. He'll give it up Stanley. 7 seconds. No, that's Stanley.
That spin move once again.
That spin move at the left hand. And Stanley with 21 points. Outside, Whitfield almost threw it away. Camels really have not gotten a good look the last several possessions, but here comes Gensler with a 3-ball and a big one. Cuts the lead back down to 4 with 3:10 left. And that brings us to another media timeout. Coming right down to the wire. Campbell hanging around, but Hampton with a 70-66 lead here on ESPN+. Hampton with the edge, 70-66, but Campbell hanging around. And it has been Jermaine Merrow, the all-everything for head coach Ed Joyner. But Campbell hanging around. That was Corey Gensler, the sophomore leading scorer for the Camels, with a 3-ball just before that last media timeout, and that's been the story of the game so far, Roderick, as Campbell's been able to stay in this one.
That's right. The Pirates are doing a good job denying the three ball in this half. You mentioned the first half shooting 54% for Campbell. Now in the second half, only shooting 33%. So great job on the defensive end for the Pirates. As Griffin brings the ball up here for the Pirates.
Fouls starting to mount up, too. That's a concern for Coach McGeehan and Campbell. 2 fouls apiece for Jakor Nelson and Milo Stacic. And 4 for Cedric Henderson, one of the leading scorers on this team. And you saw him throw it down a few minutes ago for the Camels. Under 3 minutes left, Hampton holding on to a 4-point lead. Jermaine Merrow, your leading scorer, 32 points. Here comes Griffin. Pulls up from the free throw line right as the shot clock expired. That was huge if you're head coach Ed Joyner.
Right on time, and good job getting to the free throw line. Pull up, knockdown by Griffin.
Griffin with only 6 points, but that basket was big. And now a rejection on the other end by Warren, trying to get another block, but got a little bit too physical as Nelson will go back to the free throw line.
That's right. Just got a little bit of the hand there.
Nelson with 9 points leads the Big South in steals, but hasn't been too active in that department tonight. No steals so far for the leader in the Big South. Has a new career high, had a career high 8 points versus Longwood, and can't add to it, but has 9 points so far on the night. Coach Ed Joyner, the 3-time MEAC tournament champion. His Pirates won in 2011, 2015, 2016. The winningest coach in Hampton Division I history, as the second free throw is up and good, 72-67. Hampton leads it with 2:20 left to play. Full court pressure coming for the Fighting Camels. Here comes Hextall, fights through a double team, floats it up and in. Nifty from Hextall.
That press hasn't been working tonight for the Camels as the Pirates break it once again.
Nelson right back to work. Oh, Jermaine Merrow thought it was a tie-up, comes out of the huddle thinking it was a jump ball. Instead, it's a foul on Merrow. His second personal foul of the night, still pleading his case with the officials, but it'll send Nelson right back to the line. Looking to build on his career high of 10 points.
Shooting 3 for 5 from the free throw line here tonight is Nelson.
Front end of the 1-and-1 is good, and that's big for Campbell if they want to stay in this one. Down by 6, 68-74. 2 minutes left to play, 2:01 exactly. A lot of ball in that replay, Roderick.
Yeah, that was a tough call, but the ref made the call. It is what it is.
And what it is now is a 5-point game. Full court pressure. Hextall gets it into Merrow. Passes out of the double team to Hextall. Hextall hasn't done a whole bunch in terms of scoring. 8 points tonight, but has done a lot of the little things right.
That's right. The defense has definitely been there for Hextall.
And here comes Merrow. 15 on the shot clock, 1:45 left game clock. Woo! Underneath, puts a man on the floor. Stanley can't put it in, but he will go to the free throw line. He was fouled. I believe that was Stacic who hit the ground, may have slipped.
I don't know if he slipped or Morrow just caught him with a move that time. Either way, he was on the ground.
That was Jakor Nelson with the foul. That is his third of the game. 5-point game. Stanley looking to extend. And off the front iron. Campbell, that's how Campbell has been sticking around, is really if Hampton connects on their free throws tonight, this game could be over and done with.
Definitely. They had 24 attempts from the free throw line and only made 13.
And that one rims around and out. Stays a 2-possession game.
In a close game like this.
Come down to the last 90 seconds. Here comes Nelson out to Stacic, guarded by Stanley. Looking for Henderson, but well guarded by Warren, who has been all over Henderson. Stojic launches from 3, no good off the back iron, and Merrow hits the ground hard, as does Gensler. Each team going to check on their teammates, and Merrow slow to get up, but is okay. He went for that rebound and landed almost directly on his back.
Good to see him up on his own momentum and going to the free throw line.
Which, again, if you're Campbell, that's what you want to see. Amazing that Merrow has 32 points, 8 off his career high, but he has been struggling from the free throw line tonight.
And with those, he went to the free throw line 10 times. You never know if he made all 10 of those free throws, would probably had the career high.
If you're ever around Hampton or anywhere in Big South Country, you want to check out one of these games, Marriott is the official hotel partner of the Big South Conference. For the best rates, book directly with Marriott by heading to BigSouthSports.com/Marriott. You will support Big South student athletes in the process. That's BigSouthSports.com/Marriott. As Merrow makes good on his first free throw attempt, and it's back to a 6-point game. Still 2 possession, but Merrow can change that here. And he's good. So he hasn't been good from the free throw line tonight, but he has been good when he had to be. Here comes Nelson out to Henderson. From 3. In and out, no good.
Just rimmed out.
The rebound, Hextall. And this one looking like it may be in the cards for Hampton. 60 seconds away. They lead it by 7. And Whitfield will foul Merrow, where he will go back to the free throw line.
I know he has been struggling, but he made the previous 2. Let's see what he can do now.
Coach McGeehan, hands in his pockets. Starting to see it fall away from his team as Hampton looking to improve to 4-2 in the Big South.
You've seen that fall from Merrow. Glad he's okay and up on his feet.
Now it looks like he may have found the stroke from the charity stripe.
Took him a long time, but he found it when it was needed.
And again, he's gone 4 for 4 his last 4 free throw attempts. Coach Joyner wants to talk things over as we are under a minute to play, and this one's starting to feel like it might be Hampton's night. Coming off of that half a game against Gardner-Webb, they had to call it off because of a malfunctioning shot clock at Gardner-Webb. They were trailing in that one, 39-31. They will resume that game in a couple of weeks. Nelson back to the other end, layup good. So back to a 7-point game, but the clock is running, and Whitfield will foul Greg Hextall. So it'll come down to free throws here. Not been the strongest point for Hampton all night, but they can seal it away here.
And the Camels just fouled somebody that haven't been to the free throw line tonight. Let's see if the bad free throw shooting.
Hextall, a 75% free throw shooter, right around that mark. Swish, and so the Pirates have gone 5 for 5 from the charity stripe over these last couple of trips. 50 seconds left. It's an 8-point game. Not much Campbell can do unless Hampton starts missing some free throws, which they have not done. Hextall looking to make it 6 for 6 the last several trips, and he does. So for all the struggles from Hampton at the charity stripe, they've made them when it counts. Whitfield with 45 to play. Yes, from 3. So it's back to a 2-possession game. Whitfield, Jordan Whitfield, the 6'1" junior from Raleigh, averaging 10 points a game. And Coach McGeehan calls 30-second timeout. Campbell has really played a lot of close games this year. 9-3 out of conference. 2-5 in the Big South. Good for 10th place. And a lot of games have come down to the last possession. They had a win by 1 at UNC Asheville. They had a couple of single possession losses. And now it's down to a 2-possession game for Hampton University, who leads it 80-74, 44 seconds left. And you know, Roderick, this will come down to the free throw line.
That's right, and if the Pirates made the free throws early in the game would probably be over a long time ago.
Hampton 8th in the Big South in free throw shooting percentage, 67%. But again, they have made their last 6. Full court pressure coming from the Camels. They find Merrow, guarded by Whitfield. And Merrow will go to the free throw line with 34 points. Doesn't look like he'll get to that career high, but he is close. We'll see if they foul him enough for him to get enough attempts.
Never say never.
Never say never. 43 seconds left. 6-point game. Merrow, even though he has not done well from the free throw line tonight, has made his last 4. Little bit too strong.
It once again, man.
Little bit too strong. The good old broadcaster's jinx is still alive and well, and substitutions coming for Coach McGeehan as Austin McCullough is back into the game. Looking to box out Warren, and Merrow gets the friendly roll. Back to a 7-point game, 3-possession game. Here comes Nelson, stumbles with it, ball on the deck.
And Warren gets that steal.
Merrow has it. He's looking to drain some clock. They don't get to him long enough, and Nelson has to foul Hextall. So not only did Hampton get the steal, but they were able to run off some clock with that, Roderick.
They run up a lot of clock, but let's go back to that steal. That was a great steal by Warren, as you mentioned earlier. 8th in the conference in steals. Hextall to the line here for the Pirates. Swish.
And that one is good, and it makes it an 8-point game. Only 30 seconds left. As we said, Campbell needed Hampton to start missing some free throws, but they've only missed 1 in their last 7 attempts. Here comes Hextall. Gets the friendly roll. It drops, and we're up to a 9-point game, and Hampton looks like they're going to come away with a win in this one, assuming some crazy finish doesn't ensue. Gensler couldn't connect on the jumper. 20 seconds left. Hampton is free to just dribble this one out. Hampton will get the home win over Campbell. And the standing ovation from the crowd. Game high, 34 points for Jermaine Merrow. Gets the pat on the head, and the Pirates get the win tonight. Final buzzer sound, 74-83-74. Hampton wins this one. They improved to 4-2 in the Big South, 9-10 overall, and Campbell falls to 11-9, 2-6 in the Big South. We'll have some final numbers for you just in a little bit here as you've been watching this presentation of Big South basketball on ESPN+.